So could you use more referrals in your service-based business? Well, if you answer yes to that question, then stay with me on this video because I'm going to be breaking down how to do that with this 36 Connect framework that I teach my students and my clients on how to better communicate with their database to generate more referrals. I'm Bill Utnich, and I'm the author of the Referability Roadmap, a guide to building your referral-based business. And so if you are just tuning in with me, I started this series last week. Actually, today is going to be part 5 of a 7-part series that I am going through this system and breaking it down and sharing each one of these ways that you can be using to connect with your database on a regular basis to generate more business. So over the last week, just a quick recap. If you are just joining this one today, and it's okay, you can join. I would just say you go back and watch the other ones. Last week we talked about what to do on a monthly basis, and that was send out a monthly email and a monthly direct mail piece. And that direct mail piece can range anywhere from a postcard to a letter, whatever that what you want that to look like. But we have to understand that we are coming from bringing what I call goodwill content, something that is either going to help people have an easier and better life or solve a problem possibly for the people that are receiving that. And then we talked also about what to do on a quarterly basis, and that was picking up the phone, having conversations with your database, and also utilizing text messages and also video inside of those text messages. And so which brings us to what we're doing biannually, so at least twice a year. Now, what I'm going to share with you today is we're going to be talking old school, and it's really not old school, it's just so overlooked, is the power of the handwritten note. And before I get started, I'm going to grab a sample, and so we can talk about that. So at least twice a year, what you want to do is be sending a handwritten note. Now, I'm going to say this, a lot of times it should probably be more than that, because we're going to kind of talk a little bit about, hey, times when we're going to do that. But at least, right, what we want to do this is we want to be sending out a handwritten note 2 times a year at a minimum, okay? And where that would maybe look like, where that might be different in where you would send that more, is because what we want to use the handwritten note for is anytime that we want to thank somebody. So if someone sends us a referral, one of the best things that we can do is literally write them a handwritten note. I'm in different groups that's either in real estate, mortgage, insurance, right? And people are talking about like, hey, what should I give my, my client for, referring? Now, keeping in mind, different industries are regulated differently on what you can give them when it comes to like monetary value, that kind of thing. No, I'm not an expert in that. I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice on that. But what I can tell you is you can write them actually a note. And what I use is a note, just a basic note. This one happens to have chairs sitting on the beach. Don't overthink the note, okay? And it's blank inside. And the reason being when it's blank inside, because you're going to write it. And what I love about it is the power of this when we do it. So if someone refers you business, is sending them a note, thanking them for referring you business. That's one of the best thank you that you can get. And the reason why I love the handwritten note, why I think it's so powerful, is we just don't get them. I want you to think about the last time that you got a true handwritten note, not one that was generated by a machine, because there are services that do those. I err on the side of doing, writing those notes myself, because they're more impactful. People feel like when I'm getting this and going, okay, yeah, they went to the trouble to send it, but they truly know that when you send it, because we're going to talk about what that should look like, and you send them the note thanking them for that. I've gotten people that have thanked me for sending them a note. And I've had students and clients of mine where people will reach out, and it's funny, we'll send them a thank you note for sending them a thank you note, because people just don't get them. It is so overlooked, because most of the time what we're going to err on the side of being, efficient. And that's shooting someone a text. Hey, thank you so much. Hey, it was a pleasure meeting you today, at this meeting or whatever. When we have the opportunity I'm just going to tell you, this is why at a minimum, it should be you're sending your people a note twice a year inside of your database. There's going to be some times where it could be multiple, like 4 or 5 or 6 times a year. Now you have to be careful with my microphone over. That might be helpful too as well. Is to making sure that you're not overusing it, because what happens is you'll hear me say, wow, this is great. So then what I'm going to do is like, I'm just going to write everybody like every week a note. Then what happens is the being personal comes out of that. It's like, okay, now this is just a thing that they do, but that's why we want it to be centered around a specific thing, like a referral. It also can be, in this where you're just checking in with them. Hey, I thought about you today. I was in your neighborhood, and just wanted to just write a note and just say, hey, I hope you're having a great summer. Okay. It can be something as simple as that. Just by saying, hey, I was thinking about you, puts you back again, top of mind. This is the thing that we've been talking about. If you've been staying with me on this training, is all of these things, right? The different things that we're doing, forms of communication, because that's what they are, if you will, all hit people differently, right? From a note to a text to a call to a direct mail piece, and then the other things that we'll get into as well, being face to face with people. Okay, it all builds one upon another. And so if you're not doing this on a consistent basis, this is one of the best ways. And I've gotten business from this, and I tell different stories around this, but one of those stories when I was in my real estate business running that, I can remember going on an appointment and meeting with some home sellers. And I knew that they were meeting with multiple other agents. I think they were meeting with like 4 other companies, 4 other agents. And I met with them and had a great conversation. When I got done with them, I got back to my office. I wrote them a note thanking them for, hey, giving me the opportunity to meet with them, and that was it, right? Wasn't trying to sell them through the note or anything like that. And one of the things that I knew that because they had told me who 2 of the other people were, and I knew for sure that I was going to be more expensive. I know what I charged was more than them because I knew them in the community that we lived in. Neither here nor there. Okay, it's just I knew that they were gonna try to cut me on on price of what I charge. So what happened with that is that a couple of days later, I get a call from them, from this couple that I had met. And they're like, hey, Bill, we would like to hire you to represent us to sell our home. Awesome. That was great. Came into the office, we met, signed all the paperwork. And I just asked them, I said, hey, I know that you guys met with multiple agents. What was the difference? I know I'm not the cheapest, right? I'm always going to call out what it is. I mean, so people, and they know that because other people told them, and they're like, no, you aren't. But what we felt like is in your presentation, but what the main thing is you sent us a thank you note, that you took the time to write that and send it. And we believe that just by you doing that, the attention that you would give to us and to getting our house sold would be much better than the other people that we spoke with. Right? A note. Okay. Less than a buck to send this, for me to take the time and to write that and to send it to them was their deciding factor, because in the absence of value, all there is price, right? So if they looked at me where I'm like, oh, they may have believed me, my numbers and all of the things they did, but they're going to go, hey, I've got these other people that'll do it cheaper. Most people a lot of times are going to be inclined to go that way. It's just human nature. This is where we want to be different, right? It's better to be different than it is just to be better. Okay. Because everyone says, oh, I give the great service. I can do this. I can do that. But sometimes it's that one little thing. And that one little thing, you don't even know what it is. In this case, I did, because I knew it was a note. And so many times that when I send those, because when I get personal handwritten notes, I keep them. I have a box. I keep them in. I've had some for years that people have sent me that thank me, for helping them and all, whatever that looked like, because it meant something to me, because I knew that they had to slow down and they had to take the time to do it. And that's the message that it sends when you do this, because it's effective. It's efficient to do a text. Is it as effective as writing one of these notes? I will say, no, it's not. It sets this whole thing apart. So you may be asking yourself, it's like, okay, all right, Bill, you got me sold on the note thing. It works. And that's not just me. It's been clients, students, people I mean, in my world that I have taught this, that have done, that do this. I didn't create it, right? It came from my mentors, my coaches, is like going, hey, here's the thing, is like, this is powerful. And so much right now, especially in the world that we live in, is it's like, because it's like, oh, we're gonna Facebook. There's like all these other things, and it becomes so impersonal, and that's where the note really becomes different. This is why picking up the phone and calling people, right? Having a conversation, because we build this story up, around, and you can go back and watch that video I did on on making the calls. Is that we create all these stories that people don't want to talk, they're too busy, they're all of that. But in a world that we're more connected than we've ever been, we're less connected. We're less in relationship because it's so much noise and superficialness, I believe, in all of these things. And that's why when people get these notes, people are moved by them. And you don't have to be like, my handwriting is terrible. I mean, it really is terrible. I print everything because I print like I'm like in third grade. Okay. My grandkids, they give me a hard time about my writing, right? So that tells you something. But the thing about it is, I just have to get over that. The issue of it is that I'm going to write the note. I may not like how my penmanship looks, and I work on that. I slow it down, but it still is what it is to get over that, because it's just the sheer fact that you're doing this and you're sending this to them, and you don't have to write a novel. This is why, like, the size of my cards, they're not huge, right? They're not that big. And this is what I like, because you can use this whole thing. Usually I don't. Usually I use this bottom part. Hey, dear, however you want to start it. And right, it's going to 2 or 3 sentences, right? We're not writing War and Peace on this. If you want to write more, you can get bigger notes. You can do that. So here's the thing I want to share with you is, if you're not doing it, start doing it. If nothing else, I've taught you, like, in the last 4 trainings, is like, this is the powerful one. And this is like the least expensive. And so a couple of things of it is and I've got like a note writing checklist. And so if you want a copy of the checklist, because, just put checklist down in the comments, and I'll send it to you. But some of the things that you want is, one is you got to have notes. Okay. I'm really going to break it down today. We're really going to get tactical, and I don't care what, you can get them on Amazon. I would get, like, don't worry about, what they don't have to have sayings on them. I'm going to say be Switzerland, be somewhat, neutral on this. Is why I like, just getting something plain, something maybe that's seasonal. People look at this and go, oh, okay, it's cool. Hey, there's the beach. It doesn't matter. I've got different ones. Some have sayings on them, some don't, but they all are blank on the inside, because I want you to be writing your message in the note. The other thing is that I use blue ink, because blue ink, I think, is more personal than black ink. That's just my own opinion on that. You can write whatever color. I'm not sure. I probably use red, but hey, you choose the color. But I know that I use blue in mine. Make sure that you hand address the envelope. Okay. Now, I will tell you this: when I was in my real estate business and I was writing a lot of notes, anywhere from, like, 2 to 3 to 4 a day, depending on on it each day, to different people, depending on what the situation was. There was times that I would have my assistant handwrite the address on the outside of the envelope, in full transparency. For a long time, I did it myself. Then I was like, hey, because I'm writing more notes, I need more leverage. I can be spending more time writing notes than addressing those. Her penmanship was much better than mine, but I still wrote the inside wrote inside the note, hand addressed the outside of the note, and put a stamp on it. Yes, there's still stamps being sold. I get it. We're going to go, oh, Bill, but stamps are, I don't remember how much they are, 73, 75 cents. But I'm just telling you, you buy the cards, in bulk, like Amazon or wherever you get those, you're paying, a few cents per card or whatever. For like $1, it's an inexpensive, but such a powerful touch for people. I'm just telling you this. I mean, I've gotten business from this. And there's one story, and I can go to other stories. I can talk about other clients but just by sending the note of how that, how that separates. And it just separates you from other people, where it's just like, man, this person cares. This person cared enough to do this. Right. So helps you stay top of mind with them. And then we compound that with all the other things that we're doing. So have the stamps, have the notes, have a goal around this. And so one of the things that I always tell, my students is my one-on-one clients is like, hey, at a minimum, write two notes a day. That's 10 a month. That's 10 a week. That's 40. That's 42 a day. Okay. Now this says write 2 a year, but what we have to understand is this is to the same person in your database. You should be touching that person twice, because our 36 connect is based upon one person. We're connecting with them 36 times throughout the year through all the different forms of communication that I've been sharing and are sharing and will continue to share with you as we finish up on this training series. But so that's why you're having the notes ready, because you don't know. You may be, someone sends you a referral today, then it's like, oh man, I need to thank them. I don't have any notes. Oh, I don't have any stamps. Be prepared. That's what makes it so much easier. You can just pull a message. Why I was able to over here on my little desk to get a note, and I've got some stamps in my drawer that I can take out of here, and I got envelopes for these. Yeah, so you need envelopes too, and typically they're going to come with them, right? So you don't have to go and do it double. So, and I know that, and as you're watching this, it's kind of like, and I know because what people say to me are like, really, is this really like a thing? And I'm like, it is absolutely a thing. I know people that are that running major $1 million companies, and their big thing is I've had conversations and like, hey, what are you doing? And it's like, hey, it's the power of this. It's the power of this note when you do that. So that's what that looks like from a tactical standpoint. Then it's like, okay, to give you some examples. So, okay, you're like, all right, Bill, I'm struggling. Like, okay, well, what would I send a note for? One, if someone sends you if someone sends you a referral, that's the easiest one to do that, right? Someone sends it to you. Thank you so much. You send it to the person that referred you. And then when you get the business from that person, anyone that's doing business with you is writing them a handwritten note. Thank you. Hey, I know you had other choices that you could have made in whatever, insurance, mortgage, you could have got whatever industry that you're in. And I just want to say thank you for allowing us to serve you, right? I'll be in communication with you throughout this whole process and beyond, right? However whatever that looks like for you, that's part of like an onboarding process that you have. It could be just like I said, is around milestones of things because these people are people like, and trust, and especially your A clients. And because you hear me talk about all the time, we're going to categorize our database right into 3 different groups: our A's, B's, and C's. And then our A's, which are the people those are our advocates. Those are people that are doing business with us multiple times a year, referring us at least twice, on every 12 months at least. So those are the people that we want to make sure that we're staying in communication with them when we're having conversations with them. What's going on? They had one of their kids graduated high school. What milestones are there in their lives that you're in contact with? And you're just like, hey, congratulations on Sarah graduating from high school, college, whatever it is. Congratulations on the new baby. Like, that is so awesome. Like, we would have cards that were specific to that too, that were congratulation cards, and these work totally fine. But then what you can also do is then have specific, and it's also sometimes it's a get well card. You have a client that had surgery. Hey, thinking about you. Hope you get well. Right? We can post it on Facebook. Yes, I know. But the difference if it is like when they open that up and going, hey, this person took the time. Condolences. It's okay too. Right? And we're not in there sending it to the condolence card and then asking them like, hey, who do you know that needs, a mortgage? No, we're just being human. We're just like, hey, I'm so sorry for your loss. We're thinking about you. And if you're a person of faith, hey, we're praying for you. Whatever that looks like, that you're taking the time to send that to them and doing it. Because we're building this by relationship. We're in a relationship with people. And that's the thing, is that's why when we call them, they're like, who is this? It's because we're part of their life. We're bringing them value. We care, right? That's the whole piece behind that. And it's I get it. It's not for, it's not maybe for everybody. If you want to just be, super transactional, but if you want to be super transactional, you can't expect to be referred on a consistent and regular basis. You'll get referrals just by if you do a great job, typically. But where it becomes consistent and it becomes better is when we start building a system around doing that, around these people. It's no different like with my wife. It's like, if I'm only going to talk to her a couple of times a year, we're probably not going to have that great of a relationship. But if I'm in regular and constant communication and great communication and in our case with our clients is, hey, helping them maybe solve a problem, making their life better by the information that we share with them. And then ultimately they're going to ask us, and then we have we've given them goodwill on that. And then when we need help on something, when we're looking for something, it's like a friend. It's like, hey, could you help me with this? And it's not being desperate. It's not begging people. It's just like, hey, this is what I've got going on in my business. This is who I'm looking for. Hey, if you happen to know somebody that fits this, hey, would you connect them with me? And because that we've built value, we've done things differently than everyone else. Instead of just beating them over the head about trying to get them to send us business where it feels that way, where it's just like, sure, absolutely, And that's where that comes from. There's where that consistency comes from. That's why in our real estate business for year, I mean, over 10 years straight of our average, we were selling over an average of over 100 homes a year, and 94%. So if it was 100, so 94 out of 100 homes were sold because they were referred from our current past clients and our sphere of network or database, people that we were connecting with on a consistent basis, bringing them value / goodwill, helping them solve problems or making their life easier or better. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. Now, is it easy? No, because you got to have a system in place to do that. Is it simple? Yes. It's nothing. Everything that I've taught you isn't something that you're probably not already doing. Some piece of that. The issue of it is like having a system and doing it consistently. So, handwritten note, minimum of 2 times a year to each person in your database. Your A clients, it should be definitely more than that because they're referring you more, right? So based upon those people, but 2 times a year at a minimum. That's a no-brainer. That's a low-hanging fruit to be able to reach out to people that you meet also at a networking event that you may go to, and you meet somebody. Hey, it was great meeting you at this. And it's something that you want to connect further with, right? It's different. Yes, an email is effective or is efficient, maybe some not as effective. And you'll say, well, I don't have their mailing address. Because a lot of people don't put their mailing address on their business card. I get it. I understand that. Then when you're with them and there was like, hey, you want to do that, just saying, hey, if I wanted to mail you something, where can I mail it to? You don't have a mailing address on your card. They'll more than likely give it to you. Oh, hey, here's my office address. Or, hey, here's my home address. Hey, awesome. That's great. Thank you. And then you send them a card. Right? And then in that conversation, you should be having that conversation. It's like, hey, if you had a question about mortgages, or you had a friend or a family member that do you have a mortgage professional that you could ask questions of? Yes or no? No, we really don't. Hey, I would love to be that resource for you. Hey, from time to time, I send out information to my clients that they find useful in their lives. Would you be okay with receiving that information? Yes, that's what they're going to say. 9 out of 10 times. They're going to go, yeah, sure, that'd be great. We get their information. We look at their card. If their address isn't on it, right? We get their address. Why is the address so important? Well, we can't send them a handwritten note if we don't know where they live or where they work, right? So we have to do the work in order to do that. Okay. And then we're getting their permission. Hey, from time to time, I'm going to send information that I hope that you may find useful, that we send to our clients. Yeah, useful information. I'll use useful information. I'm going to mail that, and that's why we get their mailing address, and we mail that because we're going to send them a direct mail piece. We're going to send them a handwritten note. We already have their email and their telephone number. We have that covered. So that's what I've got for you in today's training on the power of the handwritten note. If you want a copy of that note writing checklist, just drop checklist in the comment down below. And I'll be back tomorrow as we will go into number 6, our part 6 of our 7-part series, and on how to generate more referrals for your business. We'll be talking about getting face-to-face with people and what that looks like and the power of all of that. So, hey, hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, let me know. Always love to answer questions around how to help service-based businesses grow and their business by helping them grow their referrals. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great